they will all have died in vain. You're right. I'll make the talisman for you. But you should speak to Mathras. He seems to know things we don't about the creatures blocking the road.
I'll be going now. Mathras, do you have a moment?
My dear, I have all of eternity.
Who are you exactly?
I am Mathras, immortal and unique.
Right. So why aren't you out there hanging out with your dead walker friends?
First of all, I don't have any pals. I'm a little too old for that. Secondly, I find your implication that I'm associated with them most unpleasant. I have nothing in common with those dead things. I've been around for over 6,000 years, and I'm still very much alive, thank you. I admit this body is looking a little worn.
6,000 years old. Hey, you don't look a day over 250.
You flatterer. I did, however, lose a toe this morning. Nonetheless, these dead walkers are simply corpses as they're animated by magic. Whereas I am an immortal spirit who changes bodies when they wear out. There's absolutely no similarity.
That's not so dumb. It's what allows you to go on having an effect on the world, I guess.
Exactly. I give these bodies extra life that they would not have had if they'd stayed dead. Though, of course, these days, it's unlikely they would stay dead for very long.
I want to ask you a couple of questions. Did you know all along that Edwin was really the White Lady?
Yes, even though I almost didn't recognize her with all that clothing on. You may not believe it, but when she was a young girl amongst the White Lords, she liked to stroll around nearly naked.
How come you never said anything?
Oh, please. It would be a shame to spoil the delightful humor of such a situation.
This Black Frost, have you ever met him before?
It's entirely possible. But if I did, he didn't go by that name in those days. You see, at that time, I found the company of any and all living creatures quite simply unbearable. I had decided to move to an area as far away from anyone else as possible. As the desert climate tends to wear out my bodies faster, I opted to move up to the great frozen north. I lived there peacefully in my modest palace for some years, until one day, a small group of people arrived. There were a dozen apprentice sorcerers who called themselves the White Lords. Believe me, in those days, Lord was about the last thing anyone would think of calling them. On reflection, I should have slain them on the spot for having disturbed my peace and stolen some books from my archives. But I was rather bored, and their thefts intrigued me, and so I followed them. I picked up their trail in a city a few towns along. There were quite a few of them at the time, and the locals seemed to like them well enough.
Are you talking about the Ice Lords?
Yes, of course. Though they weren't calling themselves that. I watched them for a while, but they were so ridiculous that I quickly grew bored of them. Clearly, managing to steal from my library had been the result of the merest stroke of luck.
And Black Frost?
Doubtless he was one of them. A talentless conjurer who imagined himself a great mage without having any of the abilities to go with the title. Of course, with the passing of time and using my research, they finally managed to achieve their goal. If they're still the gang of megalomaniacs that they were, then they are extremely dangerous.
Why are you still here?
Well, you see, my dear, my curiosity knows no bounds. And you already know I'm immortal. I should think those two reasons would be enough to allow me to be present for the end of the world, though obviously it is my dearest wish that your little plan should succeed. Your capacity to resist the intrusion in your body of an extraordinary spirit is absolutely fascinating. Know that if the world is not totally destroyed in the next few hours, but that you should fall, I will personally ensure that your story is remembered.
I don't know if I should thank you for that. Talk to you later. Okay, the news is not great. According to what I've been able to find out with Mathras, the Palace of Blackfrost is guarded by another one of his concubines, and it looks like she's too powerful for me to take.
Well, there was never much doubt about that, my boy, if you'll pardon my honesty. All is not lost, however. As I told you before, if you manage to eliminate the 3 other concubines, the power of the Guardian will be considerably reduced.
And while our own power is increased.
That's the plan. If somebody wants to come with me, we'll go together and track down these misunderstood love monsters. I'll be counting on the others to guard the camp. It's bound to get pretty hot around here fast, even more so if I mess this up.
I could come with you. I may not be the most powerful being among us, but I do know how to make myself useful. You can trust me to help.
Look, don't take this badly, but I'm gonna need someone a little more experienced for this mission.
The Knight has been waiting for this moment a long time. A fight without hope, but he might claim victory at the risk of his life.
Sorry, Randval, but I'm not that excited about fighting next to a suicidal maniac. I'm leading a battle, not somebody's heroic last stand.
Having some magic to back you up will help against these creatures, and I know their ways all too well.
Okay then, since you seem so desperate to come, I'll take you. Your experience will be welcome.
Soon, poor Blackfrost is going to have to resort to using his hand at night.
Ooh, still jealous?
Don't be a fool. Let's go.
My goodness, going on a concubine hunt sounds an awful lot of fun. I will assist you by diverting the attention of the one they call the Stalker. I'll arrange it so that she stays on the side of the ancient bridge near the doors to the city. Meanwhile, you can deal with her 2 sisters without fear of interruption. I would, however, advise you not to waste too much time. I'm not convinced my conversation will hold these illiterates' attention indefinitely.
Here, this object should prove useful to you. I don't know whether it will function perfectly, or even less for how long, but I sort of had to improvise.
Well, thanks, I guess. What does it do?
If it works, the same thing as the pillars, except that you can carry this with you. It minimizes the corrupting magic around you. The concubines and the undead that you will meet will find themselves weakened.
Sounds great. Thanks, Liestas. It's time for me to go do it. Good luck to you here.
Good luck to you.